and welcome to Leaflet Educational Research Made Approachable. Today we are discussing an article titled Teachers' Insights into Connected Learning Networks, Emerging Activities and Forms of Participation. Now, the aim of this study is to explore teachers' insights into connected learning activities and networks. Researchers involved claim the implementation of design-oriented pedagogy and the harnessing of learner interest can improve inquiry outcomes. Students in such an environment are encouraged to solve problems creatively and in collaboration with one another. The distance between consideration and application of information is to be minimized to the furthest extent possible. This approach can be thought of as a shift from a quote-unquote industrial educational process toward organic, adaptive learning networks. The connections do not end with receipt and general application of information, however. Connected learning also supports youth to link formal learning with society, family, and community in ways specific to each category. And while this perhaps sounds familiar to those teaching at the secondary or higher education level, it is young children who are not often encouraged to participate in shared decision-making and whose ideas are seldom considered with much consequence. This study focuses on how primary school teachers and early childhood educators can promote meaningful participation, collaboration, and inquiry across spaces. Design-oriented pedagogy or design-oriented learning systems serve here as a framework for promoting connected learning. Three terms are to be defined before delving further, as this research uses them in a non-traditional form without distinguishing their meaning from that of other potential uses. Subjects means communities. Objects means tasks, artifacts, or goals. And tools, well, the definition of tools is dependent upon the environment, but it's things that are used to deepen inquiry or to further knowledge. Likewise, design-oriented learning systems maintain three key principles. 1. Engaging learners in the pursuit of open-ended learning tasks. 2. Working with diverse conceptual, material, and digital resources and tools that represent the phenomenon in question. And 3. Facilitating interest-driven participation in generative communities. Now, with a design-oriented learning system in place, students connect diverse tools, materials, including questions and theories, and people in terms of shared objects of activity. This means their relevance to one another and to the learning process is dependent upon their potential roles in the communities, and the interactions between these participants is of interest. The design objects, the tasks involved in the learning process, are characterized by emergent goals and activities that form organically throughout the pursuit. This provides genuine, complex, dynamic learning experiments like those operating in knowledge-generating professional fields and in the general, quote, real-life, unquote, experience. As new ideas emerge and the inquiry deepens, the system itself is redesigned. With these principles and processes in mind, a four-step instructional method was employed by a group of primary school teachers and early childhood educators. First, students and teachers collaborate to determine the learning objective. Second, students and teachers map research questions, resources, tools, and expertise that may be helpful and accessible throughout the learning process. Third, data resulting from interaction with these assets is collected. Fourth, a solution or insight is constructed and shared. This instructional model, like the inner workings of a design-oriented learning system, is similar in nature to the research and design methods of knowledge-generating fields. Researchers applied this model to an in-service project. The first aim was to emphasize the openly networked, peer-supported, and production-oriented nature of learning and of professional development for teachers. The second was to explore teachers' insights into the forms of participation that are mediated in early childhood and in school beginners' learning projects. Recognition of the emergent learning activities and their relevance to the development of ideas and participation is essential in connected learning projects, as students were encouraged to connect with experts, externalize their ideas and thoughts, cultivate their own questions, collect and evaluate their own data, and pursue their own research interests. Teachers were challenged to consider the complex relationship between guidance and participation. This study suggests that further research efforts are to be employed to examine connected learning in international networks, and that a similar study in which students collaborate in homogeneous groups may be helpful in understanding the strengths and weaknesses of the models used here. Now, what are your thoughts on connected learning networks? Where do they fit? Where do they maybe not fit? Let us know in the comments, off to the left, off to the right, inside, outside, down there. I don't know where they are. Let us know what you think. Thank you for listening. This has been Leaflet Educational Research Made Approachable. You have a wonderful day, and we will see you next week.